Hello, hello! Welcome back to VBS Event Summaries. Now that we've got our silly mixed events out of the way, it's time to get back into some focus events. As always, we begin with On and Bout For Beside You. It's been a while since Awakening beat, so if you need a little refresher, Kohane just surpassed her own limits and really blew the rest of her squad away, making On feel really uneasy for some reason. Bout For Beside You ran on the JP server from October 11th through the 19th, 2021. The commission song for this event is Awake Now. There's actually a bit of interesting trivia concerning Awake Now. Apparently, the original producer that was supposed to compose On's second commission fell ill at the last second, so Yunosuke was chosen as a last-minute replacement. This caused the song to be delayed by 7 months. Though we haven't hit the peak On commissions yet, stay tuned. I promise they're on the horizon. For now, let's take a peek into how On is dealing with these icky feelings of hers. Everything is business as usual for VBS. Just practice and general life stuff. I won't go over the mundanities. Though On is being overly cheery and clingy with Kohane, something that Akito takes notice of. On still can't shake the feeling that she's had since their second performance at Stay Golden, and it's weighing her down. Akito does try to confront her about this after practice one day, but they're interrupted by Kotaro, who has some news about their dear friend Arata Tono. Apparently, he's agreed to have a singing battle with some old guy in the crowd of whatever event he was performing in, and get this, Arata is losing to this rando. VBS rushes over to catch the drama. Oh, wouldn't you know it? That old guy battling against Arata is the same one that gave Kohane advice in the last event. An and Akito recognize the guy immediately, but it's for a different reason. Toya just kind of stands there, completely clueless. Just as this guy is about to sing, Akito tells Toya and Kohane to listen closely and to not take their eyes off even for a second, a sentiment that An agrees with. So this guy is really good, apparently. I don't know, his pretentious attitude makes me not want to believe what the game is trying to say. He makes a few digs at Arata's progress and tells him that there's one thing he should know if he wants to take on Rad Weekend. What's that one thing, you might ask? Oh, well, I don't know. The game just has some blank lines in the text box, so we don't get to know what Mystery Man says. Must have been pretty shocking, though, because Arata looks absolutely floored by it. An finally gets around to telling the rest of her squad who this mysterious man is, a person by the name of Taiga Kotaki, her father's former partner and part of the reason why Rad Weekend was such a legendary event. Taiga and Ken were so close that An even calls him Uncle, which Taiga comments is a title that only An uses for him. So yeah, pretty important guy. Not that I'm happy about it. An suggests stopping by Weekend Garage so Taiga can visit Ken, and just before they walk in, Akito pulls An aside and asks about the falling out between Taiga and her father. There were rumors about a huge fight, but An shrugs it off and says the two fought all the time. Though Taiga did go overseas almost immediately after Rad Weekend, so maybe there is something she doesn't know about. Well, Ken and Taiga play up the rumors a bit before breaking and laughing like old friends, so I guess all of that bad blood was just rumors. An gets to explaining how instrumental Taiga was for making Rad Weekend a success, specifically getting the word out. After Rad Weekend, Taiga and his younger sister Nagi both went to the US and have made a pretty big name for themselves there, singing in music videos that have over 500 million views. Which is actually insane, by the way. Oh, I should say that the trio of Ken, Taiga, and Nagi were the backbone of Rad Weekend. You can see them all here in the Journey to Bloom animation. As Taiga asks VBS about their goal to surpass Rad Weekend, he unexpectedly offers Kohane the chance to sing with him as a sort of specialized training. Just Kohane, though. An comments that plenty of people have asked her uncle to teach them how to sing, but he turns them all down every time. For Kohane to get a direct offer like this, it's big, to say the least. Kohane says that she'll think about it, since she did say she'd commit herself to practicing with her squad, and Taiga leaves, the offer still on the table should she change her mind. After he leaves, Akito encourages Kohane to find Taiga again and accept, since this truly is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Toya agrees, of course. An is feeling very conflicted, but she eventually tells Kohane to go for it. It's not without some comments about how even An hasn't been able to get a lesson from Taiga, but she does her best to stay lighthearted. I'm just curious as to why Ken isn't helping them at all. I mean, he was part of Rad Weekend. He's literally An's father, too. I don't know, seems like they're disrespecting the biggest supporter of VBS here. Oh, it seems like I spoke a little too soon. An has a conversation with her dad that night after the cafe closes, and thankfully An is super open and honest about what's been bothering her. We love communication. Ken realizes that On's feelings are very similar to the way that he felt forming a team with Taiga, and wonders if his daughter could be going through the same thing that he did. On tries to pinpoint her feelings as jealousy, but even that didn't feel right. Maybe she's afraid of being left behind? Ken leaves On to think, and after a while, she gets a message from Akito. Oh yeah, they never did get to have that little confrontation talk thing or whatever from earlier. Guess that needs to happen sooner rather than later. Thankfully, Akito isn't a massive jerk and is actually really understanding. See what happens when there's effective communication? Insane concept, I know. But because On is able to outright say what's bothering her, the two can get right down to theorizing. Since Akito does have some experience with the feeling of being left behind, he asks On if her feelings are similar. Yes, sort of. More like those feelings are only a part of the whole picture, if you know what I mean. You know, I thought this little Sekai interruption from Len and Miku would leave things off on another cliffhanger, but it actually didn't. So I didn't mention it earlier because I didn't think it would come up again, but during the first scene of this event, Rin hears Kohane practicing and says that she wants to sing with her a bunch. Harmless stuff, but Len gets really upset. Fast forward to now, and Miku offered to give Len some special training to make Rin want to stay partners. On laughs at the silliness of it all, but Len hits her with the, how would you feel if Kohane said she wanted to sing with someone else? On's face tells Akito and Miku all they need to know. Len just hit the nail on the head without even realizing it. Miku gets Len to leave the three of them alone, and also confronts On about her attitude recently. Damn, seems like everyone's been picking up on On's vibe shift. Remember how On felt in her first focus event? That she wants to lead Kohane forward and be there for her when it counts? Well, those feelings are still central to On's idea of their continued partnership. But here's a line that's been making everything different recently. What if Kohane becomes so good that I'm not able to hold a candle to her anymore? And that, my friends, is what all of that rambling and avoiding and denying amounts to. On is scared that Kohane will leave her for someone better eventually. Akito thinks this is all perfectly normal. After all, On has been singing by herself for years, and things only changed recently. It makes sense that when she finally found what she was looking for, she'd be terrified of losing it. So what can she do? Well, I hate to say to take a page from Akito's book, but that's probably the right choice so long as she doesn't push her luck. Working harder to stay by Kohane's side is just about the only thing On can do right now. But I totally forgot about Kohane's training session with Taiga. Yeah, that's got On feeling even worse than before. At least she knows what the feeling is now. To combat her sour mood, On goes out to Vivid Street and sings all day, feeling a little nostalgic but also a little bit better. When Kohane finds On at the end of her set, it turns out that she and Taiga didn't practice singing at all, and instead Taiga showed her around Vivid Street some more. It's like he wants her to realize something, but even I can't tell what that something might be. Kohane is, of course, oblivious to On's fears. So she compliments On like always, gushing over how cool she is and how Kohane wants to be more like her. On squirms under the praise and suddenly asks Kohane a what-if question. What if, someday in the far future, after they've really made it as singers, On and Kohane found themselves far apart from each other? What would Kohane do? Well, of course Kohane says that she would still want to sing with On, no matter what. On smiles, asks Kohane to sing one more song, and their voices echo into the twilight. Another On event in the books. I was looking forward to seeing the setup from the last event pay out, but it wasn't as satisfying as I had hoped. From what I know, this middle stretch is a bit of a nothing burger. I hope you'll all stick with me. Here's something interesting that I found. So, you know how the bad dogs and the Vivids call each other partner? Well, the Japanese word they use is aibo, which is apparently a term used for only the closest of friends. You only have one aibo. Coincidence? I think not. They're gay, Your Honor. Okay, enough of that. Next up is yet another mixed event, but this time it's for the girls. Time to Hang Out is on the horizon, Kohane's first mixed focus. I'll see you then.